Hey everybody, it's Paul and Ray with the No Color Thick Skin podcast. I hope you guys are having an awesome week. We are back at it with another episode 15 on the No Color Thick Skin podcast. What could I say? We're both happy to be here, happy that you guys are joining us, and we're excited to start another journey down a crazy rabbit hole that we call No Color Thick Skin. But first, as always, we like to check in with each other about each other's week. Ray, how was your week?
Week has been quite busy, my friend. A lot of work going on this week. So the kids had a lot going on as well. So just trying to be super dad and work and get things together, man. It's been.
I saw you were wearing a cape.
Did you see me out there?
I saw that cape.
Yeah, dun, 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 dun. Doing it right. So just a lot of work going on. But I mean, nothing out of the norm necessarily, but all good. I'll tell you, it's football season, and you can tell here in the Metroplex when things are looking good and when things are not looking so great.
Oh my gosh, how are the boys doing?
Like with the boys, when the Cowboys play, and I know some of y'all are Cowboys fans, you may not be Cowboys fans, and they have the moniker of America's team. That's just what it is. Like,
it's okay if you're not for America. You know what?
You're
entitled to your own opinion.
You don't have to like America. That's fine. Like, go like something else. That's fine. All right. But America's team is America's team. And although the wins haven't been there as far as like the Super Bowls and the extended, playoff runs, they still garner so much attention, and it's amazing to just see. And the revenue that Jerry Jones and the Jones family brings in, they're always at the top of the charts. So that means something, So when the Cowboys lose, you can feel it throughout the Metroplex. Like, you go to the store, or you're picking your kids up, or just
meet
talking
somebody
to
in
friends.
traffic.
Yeah, it's just so much anger. When they do well, you can tell, and that's always good for sure. But man, when they lose, it sucks, man. It's like the whole week sucks, and so that's been tough to kind of deal with, people just being a little snappy. So just hopefully we get a win, and they can kind of turn that ship around. So that'd be good.
True that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but what about yourself, man? How things been in your world?
Oh, oldest daughter's doing some. She's doing some practice barrel racing. So that's dangerous and fun and all that stuff. And my wife is a huge proponent of that. And eventually we want to have some horses. So that's, future goals. All
right. Okay.
So that would be cool to, let our daughter, do that kind of thing. If that's what she wants to kind of pursue.
Equestrian type of, what is
that? Yeah, equestrian.
Equestrianizing.
Yeah.
We want to equestrianize. Yeah.
Having a well-trained person, have a well-trained horse. And
Are you able to sit there and watch her practice and watch the, routine? I don't know the right terminology, so correct me or whatever, but are you able to be a dad? And because I struggle with parental paranoia. So are you able to sit there and watch and all that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't usually make it to her thing because it's on, a different day than all the rest of the stuff.
Understand.
But usually our youngest child is 4, and I'm usually in charge of him while she takes the oldest to go do that. Anyway, but yeah, I can watch it and I'm okay with it. I've been around horses since I was a young kid because of my aunt. She's had horses for a long time, and she's pretty much taught me and all my cousins on my mom's side to ride horses and how to be around them, and how to coexist with horses, how to take care of them, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Lots of free labor out of me and my cousins.
Pro bono.
Yeah.
This pro bono. All right.
Yeah.
Pro bono.
Mm-hmm. And then my middle child's doing cheerleading, and my son's doing flag football. So it's a lot of that.
Right. A lot of activities. For
Lots of that.
A lot of fun activities, right?
But overall, pretty good, and work is good. And let's see. Yeah, that's about it. I did not catch the presidential debate. I don't feel like I missed much because everybody said that it was a huge disappointment.
Yeah. Politics is just it's just crazy now. Where we are and who we have as elected officials to run our country. Yeah. It's you would never see that in any other type of industry, profession, or whatever it is. There's some senators that are, pushing 90, like that are, in their 80s, late 70s, 80s.
Mitch McConnell?
And this isn't, listen.
No, is that the right one?
Mitch, when he was standing there and it looked like he was having a full-fledged outer body experience with himself and gazing out into the world, that was scary. Like, that is scary, man.
Oh, my gosh.
Did I laugh? Yes. Okay. Did I laugh? I did. Sorry. But that's insane that we have these elderly people in these high-powered positions, and there are no term limits. They can be there forever and a day. Continue to run, continue to be there. And it's like, what does this, 70, 80, whatever year old person have in common with this young 20, 30-year-old constituent or whatever that's in their district or in their area that they represent? What do we have in common? Like, you don't.
They're not in touch with their people at all.
You don't understand anything that I'm going through or what's happening, So
100%.
I just, the whole politics thing, and it hurts my heart when we see our friends and our family members, and we see people, just going to bat and just giving all this energy to just not liking people close to them just because of their political views and so much hate with each other. Yeah, it's just so much hate, and I don't like it. I just think it's terrible. But with politics, we get some some fun stories. Out of politics when it comes to just in the political realm, not as boring as the presidential debate. You got one lady up in like Old Dominion who's been doing some video work with her husband, and they caught that, and she's trying to be a delegate up there, and hey, whatever you have to do to make
video work, as in,
hey man, her and her husband were doing the horizontal fun town, and they recorded it, and they were taking tips. So I mean, it's it wasn't like they were like some cyber breach or something. This is something they were putting out, and they were making money.
I guess they weren't stealing anything.
I guess they weren't stealing anything, no. But
you feel like they would have like a higher morality. You're held to a higher standard when you're in a high office of the land or whatever.
It's like what you want these people who are in these positions to have a little couth about them, to have a little, have more respect, and to be not necessarily, hey, this person is better than us, or I'm better than you, or this. No, not that, but just, hey, you're supposed to be held at a higher level, I feel, than just my silly self or other people out there. And then the young lady, Lauren Boebert, whatever, who was at the show with her little boy, Tora, her friend, and I guess they were watching the show, and she was getting kind of loud, and he was getting loud, and they were singing all the songs loud and just causing a disturbance. I guess one of the ushers had to go over there
Not
three
a
times.
Movie, a play.
A play, right? Yeah.
Live action people.
Yes. So they're, just in a play, making this disturbance, and they were vaping in there as well. And they were like, hey, like, what are y'all doing? And so somebody found a video of it in black and white, and her and Buddy were getting real handsy with one another. And it's like, what is going on here?
I hope they were drunk or something. Who would do that? I mean, I get that it's exciting to do stuff for some people in public, to do sexual things, but I mean, you just that's
what's that voyeurism or whatever that whole deal. Yeah. Hey, I don't like it. All right, that's not. I don't get it.
Yeah.
You know, like to each his own. You know, you do what you do, but
when you're paid whatever you're paid, and you hold the position of whatever title in the government, you know, you are held to a higher standard whether you like it or not, and that's just not something that you can be doing.
Right.
And
I agree.
You know, ouch.
So like you said, public displays of affection, like PDA. It just, you know, I understand if you're in a relationship with someone and you want to let that person that you're in a relationship with know that, hey, I still see you as someone that I want to pursue. Like you're still, you know, beautiful to me. Like I still think that you look nice. I appreciate you as a person. I want to be affectionate with you. Like I get that, but you know, sometimes you'll see people just taking it, you know, a couple of steps too far. I've just never been the PDA guy. Like call me a prude or call me whatever. I'm more, you know, let's just be behind just keep all that private, you know?
Yeah.
Keep all of that, I would say White Claw in the White Claw in the streets, but
oh man,
we'll be Four Loko.
Yeah, Four Loko in the
Four Loko back there. All right.
Yeah.
Well, White Claw in the streets, you know, real calm.
Yeah.
Chill, you know, keep it here, but we'll go back there and get in that ring, you know, macho man.
Yeah,
snap
to a slim
Jim. Right. So
oh man.
So that was pretty wild, man. But like I said, she came out. Wow. It was funny. She made a few jokes, and you know, she talked about it a little bit. But I guess that's just part of politics. You know, that's part of the world that we live in with politics. Yeah.
She pulled a Pee Wee Herman as well.
Oh man. Pee Wee.
He passed here recently, but
he did.
Anyways,
rest in peace.
Yeah. Wow. Just a whole bunch of wow.
A whole bunch of wow. Yeah.
So, guys, today is that it?
Well, you know, it was one thing that I know we're talking about. You know, parental paranoia with your daughter, you know, riding the horses and just. You know, I know you're comfortable with that, but you know that parental paranoia also it is with our kids all the time, right? Yeah. And you know, especially with them getting older and being exposed to so much and being around so many different people, you just never know what people are thinking. You never know what situations your kids are in. But
100%.
You know, it was a tragedy, a tragic situation that happened here in the North Texas area. And I don't want to be disrespectful in saying too much or to come across as insensitive or anything of that nature. I want to preface that first, but there was a young man whose life was taken away at a restaurant here in the North Texas area, and young man and a teenager, and it's a really, really sad situation. A high schooler who passed away, and it was due to the hand of another high schooler, and it was supposedly there's some retaliation from something that happened earlier, possibly. Like I said, that's speculation from what's being stated. But just having these situations with these young men happen with the temporary anger that they're feeling and having to feel they need to do that or resort to that, it just hurts my heart, man. It really, really hurts my heart because I don't, you know, you're young, and I don't think they know exactly, you know, the ramifications of, you know, just doing that. And now you have these two families whose lives are completely devastated and completely changed forever, and that's the victim and the person who took the victim away from his family. So that's tough, man. To you wake up and you see your kid go off to school, and you don't see your kid, you know, come back from school. I don't know how. I don't think I have the mental capacity to be able to I can't even think about it too much. I don't even have the words. So I mean, thoughts and prayers to both families, honestly. But it was just that was a tough one, man. I'm not involved in that in the services of that by any means. This isn't something that we took on or anything. This is something that just it's public knowledge, and it just hurt my heart to see. And like I said, we're just giving thoughts and prayers to both families, and just hope that at some point in time that whatever the case may be, that we can get to a place to where there's not just so much hate, especially with these young men out here. So that's about all I got, Paul. I'm sorry.
Less violence.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible. And I would say, all you can do is really, treat people with kindness, and the more of that happens, the less violence we see. I think a little bit of kindness goes a long way.
Big time. I agree, man. I agree.
But
I agree, man.
As far as this today's episode goes, we're going to be talking about episode 15.
15, yeah.
We're going to be talking about racism within the black community.
What?
What?
What? That's the Russell Westbrook. What?
What? What?
What do you mean, Paul? Like, what is these words that you're putting together? Like,
I just saw it on the internet.
Internet. You saw this on the internet, huh? That's what we're doing? Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So
these are internet topics now.
Okay. All right.
So I worked for Amazon a long while ago now, actually.
JeffBezos.com.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Okay. And I worked in a warehouse. We did, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, we did outbound stuff, which is like you order something on Amazon, it goes through all these different departments trying to get to you, and then we get the box that actually goes, and we put it in the truck, and the truck goes from our end of the warehouse. And then a lot of times it's delivered to your house straight from there.
So you were a loader, if I could say that right. Like, so you were loading the trucks and the vans for them to go out.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
We were in charge of basically we get these boxes coming down from conveyor belts, and they're coming from like way up there, and then dropping down, and we have to load them up into a truck. And a lot of times we're doing that on our own. We're taking care of multiple conveyor belts, and it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's
man.
a lot.
It's a lot.
And it's a lot of physical work. Anyway, one of my coworkers, his name is Ricky. We'll call him Ricky Booby.
Ricky. Hello, Ricky.
And Ricky was black, and we were. You'll see how that plays into this. There are a lot of different types of people, working for Amazon. Lots of men, women, people of all different types of nationalities, people that look different from me, people that are, just from all over. And my buddy Ricky and I were talking about, we got along pretty well. And we were talking about, there's so many different types of people here. People from, different Asian communities, different Hispanic communities, different, shades of skin, and different shades of black people even. And he's like, Paul, you're a really nice guy. You get along with pretty much everybody. And I was like, yeah, it seems like you do too. And he's like, well, actually, I'm really having, he said something that was a little bit more harsh, but something along the lines of, there's really a lot of racism within the black community. And I was like, wait.
You looked at that man like he had 5 heads.
Yeah. I was like, hang on.
What?
I don't know. I see what you said with your mouth, But I was like,
I'm not comprehending.
No, not at all.
Not comprehending
And
at all.
and so he goes into how, people that are light skinned or, lighter skinned than the darker skinned black people have, they're perceived to have some sort of like privilege over the darker skinned black people. And his thing was, there's a lot of Africans that work at that particular warehouse that we were at, and they really didn't get along with him because he was so light skinned. And I was like, I had no idea that this is so you're telling me I'm not the bad guy anymore, like
you off the hook.
I am. I've never felt so free.
Oh,
no.
Man.
Wow. Yeah. So it was. I just didn't know. I had so many questions. I was like, so what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, man. So as a black man, I'm trying to, get along with my people. I just don't really like hanging out with black people anymore. And I'm like, for why? And he's like, man, people are just so like, it's colorism. It's like how much melanin you got within the black community is like how people treat you. And I was just so flabbergasted. I didn't know what to say.
Yeah,
I didn't know what to think.
Some people, and I'll jokingly say that they use the man. Okay, oof. They use the paper bag analogy. So if you take a paper bag, put it up next to somebody, and it's like, all right, are you on this side of the paper bag or are you on this side of the paper bag? If you're on this side of the paper bag, you're cool. But darker, we're gonna put you over there.
No,
it's just listen. That's what has been in the ether for a while. I'm jokingly saying it, but
wow,
yes, that is something that's been perceived, and it's tough, man, because me as a darker skinned black man, I do remember a time. It's different now. It was getting better, I can say, but I do know at a point in time to where I was not on any list of being nice looking or anything because of the darkness of my skin. And you can feel that. And like I said, I'm not taking shots at anybody. I love all, from whitest of the white to the darkest of the dark to the in-betweens. It doesn't matter. But I can speak from just my perspective, and just from what I've felt and what I've seen, what I've gone through. There was a personal story that I can share where there was an event happening when I was younger in my family, and I'll tread a little lightly, but if y'all figure it out, like, I don't care. But there was a situation of a event that was happening, and certain people were going to be a part of the event, and my name came up as a possibility to be in this event, and it was stated that, and I heard this as well, it was stated that I probably wouldn't be a good fit to be in this event because I'm a little too dark. Okay? And this was people who are blood relatives, right? That's why when I say relatives versus family, it's a difference. This is a relative, whatever. So that's a real thing. Like, that was something that has happened. And I can say vice versa, that some person who's probably of lighter skin has probably felt something different from darker skinned family members or darker skinned friends or whatever. I'm sure that's happened both ways, and we see it all the time. And, it has some historical, listen, man, like it's when you say it out loud, it sounds crazy. It does, because it's like, hey, like, you're black. Like, it's not that all black people are just supposed to be kumbaya and all black people are not a monolith or not, but that just makes a divide even bigger, right? So right. That's where the historical context comes into play. And there are things where you can read, some people say that this is a hoax. Some people say that it's a true event. Some people say that it's not. But it makes sense when you hear about the historical context of this story. And what it is it's called the Willie Lynch syndrome. And I found out about this maybe in 2010-ish, I believe. I read about it then. And Willie Lynch was a British slave owner. And Willie Lynch was invited to America to talk to slave owners here and kind of see how they can be better at their slave master and whatever. So Willie Lynch comes here. So Willie Lynch shows up, and I guess he gives this speech, and he's telling the slave masters, like, hey, slave owners, hey, y'all have bad business practices. Y'all are just killing all of your slaves just because they talk back, or y'all are, hurting them and harming them, and you don't have the manpower to tend to these crops and these fields. You don't have the manpower to, scale up your business because you don't have the, like I said, the manpower to, or the people to do that, because you get in your feelings, you get upset, and now you're physically taking it out on them. He stated that you should psychologically work over your slaves. So that whole Willie Lynch syndrome was to turn the people, the slaves, the blacks, against each other. So you would take, for example, color. You would take your light-skinned slaves and your dark-skinned slaves, and you would separate them out. And so you would see that in a lot of text and a lot of movies and a lot of things that you see. You'll see some more of the lighter-skinned black people in the house, and you see the darker-skinned black people tending in the fields. And that caused hate, because it was like, why do you get to go in the house? Okay. We're going to treat these light-skinned people better. Yep. And the darkies got to be outside, and, all that. So that caused chaos between the two groups of light skin and dark skin, because they're the house, and then you got the field doing what they do. So that's where that house in versus field in, you have that dynamic. Then you have age. So you'll take the younger slaves and pin them against the older slaves. Have the older slaves look down upon the young ones, and the young ones look down upon the old ones. So you have that feud, and it just trickles down. It trickles down. It trickles down. And so this is something that, from historical texts, started all the way from slavery, with this whole colorism and that hate within the community, the black community. And so that's what Willie Lynch's whole thing was. Yeah, like stop doing all of this physical punishment. Do the punishment of, hey, have them hate each other, but love the white master, because the white master is the savior. So we want to make the white man happy because we hate each other.
Can I just say that maybe we don't do all that. That was over 100 years ago when slaves were people were, when slavery was a thing.
You said let's not.
I'm just. I'm not going to change the world by saying what I'm going to say.
I was about to say, Paul,
let's stop doing
you got
that
it right now. Hey.
Stop doing that.
PSA, all the black people out there. Hey, let's just love one another.
Black people are just black people too, man.
Let's just show the love. Hey, I thought you was my brother.
Yeah.
Let's love each other. All right. Break.
Hands
in here. 1, 2, 3, break. Yeah.
1, 2,
it's 2. All right. 1, 2, 3,
break.
You're done. Okay.
Yeah.
It's all over.
Okay.
It's instilled. It's instilled, Paul. It is just unfortunate that it's just something that's just instilled in people. And I know people who make who used to feel a certain type of way, and they've grown and they've made the changes. It's not the just all talk. It's not just lip service. They doing it's actions and deeds, not words and lip service. So they're showing that they want to change. They're making changes, and they're doing that. But yeah, I mean, you can see it from just so many different. So many different organizations. Now, like I said, I don't want this to be just crazy negative. I just want to speak to what my friend had as far as needing to have an understanding. And I can point to, you and I, we've spoken about HBCUs, historical Black colleges and universities, and how they are and the things that they get and that they don't get. So at these historically Black colleges and universities, you have these fraternities and these sororities. And at these fraternities and these sororities, they're the backbone to a lot of these institutions, because you have so many just well-known and famous Black people who will go there, and hopefully they're supporting the school and they're supporting the organization. So I'm not just going to name names or anything like that. You know who they are, but there's long-standing undertones that show that, okay, this fraternity, if you're a little dark skinned, you'll be in this one and this one. If you're light skinned, you're probably going to be in this one. In this sorority, if you're a darker skinned woman, you're going to be in this sorority. And if you are a lighter skinned woman, you will be in this sorority. And I'm not saying that is the rule. I'm not saying that is the only. But if you look over the years, you will see that that's something that is very, very, very prevalent. Now, like I said, have things changed over the years to where we're seeing more things happen? Yes, but these things are things that are just indoctrinated into us, that are just instilled in us, that are instilled in just the way that, the world was. And, I know things, 2023 trying to make changes, but that's a real thing, man. And, you'll have people who will say, man, like, light skin privilege is XYZ. And, I can say that I've stated things to where if I was coming off maybe a little soft, or if I was not being as the macho, or if my friend wasn't, I say, hey, you acting real light skin right now. I've done that. Okay. Now, am I doing that as a hateful thing? No, I'm not. But if I'm going to check myself and make myself uncomfortable, all right, I probably should chill out with that. I probably shouldn't tell my friend, hey, like, you acting real light skin right now. And that's just saying that. And light skinned men are not as macho as dark skinned men. That's not what I wanted to come off as. It's coming off as a joke, but that can be interpreted that way. You see what I'm saying?
I think this is what I think personally. I think the people that joke about the light skin and the dark thing, or the dark skin thing, and the hard to talk about topics, those people need to keep doing that.
I try to, like, I agree. Okay.
But I think that the people that are like the shut in, like, that guy's really dark. We can't have him at our whatever sorority today because we've got all the pretty people out, and he's extra dark. And like, what? Huh?
Man. Yeah, huh? That's tough, man.
I don't, tough. I mean, so I'm a mix between a bunch of white people, and that's, I mean, you can see it in my skin color here. But I've got all different kinds of white people, dark skin, light skin. And this is just how I happen to look right now. I can get pretty dark, actually.
Real dark.
Yeah,
real dark.
I can. But I know people that can get darker. I just got done talking to a lady that, very pretty, very nice lady that is Filipino. And in their culture, the lighter you are, the more high class you are. And it's less of that now, less of that now. But it's still kind of the same, but it's not as extreme as it used to be. And a long time ago, I don't know if you knew this or not, but even back in the medieval ages, the lighter skinned people, the fairer skinned, they were usually royalty, because it meant that they weren't outside doing work. The lighter their skin was. So, if they were, that's why all the princesses and the duchesses and the, king this and prince that and duke this and whatever. They all had very fair complexion. Pale,
okay.
Because they were basically shut-ins. They didn't have to do any, work like that. So that has been around for a very, very, very long time. Mm-hmm. And I think that's, the slavery thing, sure. Obviously, that's terrible built into the thing and stuff like that. But even way predating that, we had that, was it called the feudal system, where you had, monarchs and you had serfs. And, as an example, like that's how white people owned other white people.
Yeah.
Before we had black people, we had lots of white people.
Yeah.
And there were people your complexion that owned white people back then.
Yeah.
So there was all different kinds of, as a human race, we figured out so many ways to do this power struggle thing. Yeah,
make power over people, have power over individuals. Yeah, it's been done for a very long time by a lot of different people, for sure.
I believe personally, you can get really deep with this, but I'll try to keep it surface level. But where we always make this crazy mistake in history, and this is why knowing history is really important, because if you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat the same mistakes.
100%.
So that being said, there is a weird thing where unless we are focused on a common goal to conquer, we end up becoming, these, like you say a lot, like people in silos, people separated by hair, by, hair texture, by their color, by their, religion, by their, all these different things. We're separated, and then we're separated but equal, and then we're like warring with each other all of a sudden, and then then we own the people that we conquered, and then we take their land, and then it's like, okay, cool, that happened, and let's move past that now. Let's move into the thing where we just try to make humanity even better. Like, we've got a homeless crisis. We've got people out there that can't afford their basic necessities, and they're begging on a street corner. How many of those people are going to a Mercedes when they're done? I don't know.
boy. Getting finessed.
Yeah. But, there's so many problems that real problems that the world has without interjecting even more power struggles and stuff like that. Like, there's a part of human nature that will always kind of struggle with that, probably. Mm-hmm. But, submitting to each other, I think, is the best route to moving into a future that's full of kindness and compassion and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And just like the pilot always says, when you're in an airplane, you have to help yourself to be able to help others. So this whole thing of like bringing everybody down 5 notches so that everybody's on the same playing field, I don't believe in that. What I believe is that we need to all, work towards having something, work towards being able to get to that next thing. And then once we get up to that level, we say, hey, guy, that's lower than me on the totem pole, I'm going to help you. Let's go. Let's do this. They don't want the help. Move on. Next guy. Okay. Hey, I want to, that's what I
just
that's the model.
Uplifting everybody, being able to uplift no matter what differences that we may have.
Yeah.
And it's fine to have differences, and it's fine to have different
That's great
opinions.
That we do sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you can open, points of conversation and gain things from people. And it's like, don't add to the divide by, hey, where do you stand on, and if how much melanin you have, or what are you doing here, or don't add to that. But yeah, it's like I said, you never know if something is ever going to be fully, eradicated as far as, how that whole thing works. But like I said, I can see differences in how some people are, like I said, perceive each other. And it's like I said, it's tough. You can see a news article on how, somebody is perceived, from just a shade of their color of what they'll say about this person versus what they'll say about that person. It's like, why can't we just keep it consistent? Like, hey man, this man hit this man in the face. All right. That man hit that man in the face. That man sucks. Go to jail.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, like just present the facts, not,
black versus white.
This black man walked in, this praying white man who was just sitting there and he was just talking to God, and he just came and hit him upside the head. It's like, what is going, like, what? Hey man, this dude sucks. He hit this man. Hopefully this man gets justice and keep going. Like, no, like just all of the, like I said, the way that people are perceived and the color and all that stuff. It's insane.
I think, it just goes to show how anything and everything could be used as a tool to broadcast what I would consider like evil or like suffering or like, whatever you want to call it, pain, you know?
I was just going to say pain probably.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. And, whether it's in the black community, the white community, it matters so little. What does matter is that there are, in my opinion, I think that it does matter that there are lots of people out there stricken by poverty, and they need help big time. Mm-hmm. We are sending billions of dollars over to places like, where are we sending money over to right now?
Ukraine?
Russia, Ukraine.
No, Ukraine.
Yep. Ukraine is getting billions of dollars right now.
You say millions of dollars?
No,
you say millions. You say millions with an M. That's a lot of money.
Millions is a lot of money.
Millions is a lot of. So we are sending millions of dollars over there.
No, we're doing billions.
Oh, you saying with a B?
With a B. With a B.
Is that what you're saying with a B? Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. With a B over there.
It's so, and I totally get it. People want, Ukraine to smash the Russians. Totally get it. But maybe we should help ourselves to be able to help others better.
Yeah.
Like we have a really big problem with homelessness. We have a really big drug crisis that I'm not sure we're handling correctly.
No.
And I think that people are a lot more, they manage themselves better. They become self-sufficient a lot better when they are not constantly falling off the bandwagon, humans are easily broken by catastrophe, right? One really bad thing happens and, a person can take a pretty big fall.
See you into a spiral.
Yeah.
See you into a downward spiral. Yeah, big time. Yeah.
And anyway, that being said, there's just a whole bunch of things that we can really spend time really kind of getting down deep into as a society to fix ourselves, to be able to better help other countries and give more to people like Venezuela or, any place that needs, financial help or diplomatic help or whatever. We have the capability to do that. We have so much money here, especially with our money pooled together with our hands behind our backs, because the government likes to take our money.
and that's what I was going to get to. It's like follow the money. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
If we look at the way a lot of the systems are are set up here in America,
yeah,
you can see that the system isn't made to not have poverty. Like, the system is good to have poverty because they want people on welfare. They want people homeless, because in Los Angeles right now, there's a homeless crisis team that are individuals who are put on this committee, and they have, directors and people in these positions, and these people's average salaries, I think, are like $200,000. And they have all these people on this committee to eradicate and help slavery, but I'm sorry, to eradicate homelessness and to help with the homeless problem and the poverty problem. But you got all these people making all this money, and there's no change. And the reason they don't want it to be changed, because, okay, if I erase the homelessness problem, I'm not going to get paid.
I don't get a job anymore.
I'm not going to be here. So I'll do a little bit and make it look as if, we're doing something, but why would I eradicate it? That means my job is going to be gone. That means all this money that I'm making off of the state is going to be gone, and I'm going to have to find something else. So, and you'll see that in all different industries, like all different, projects and all different types of things. So yeah, it's just made to where the system is the system. And like we say, politics is just, it's nasty. It's terrible. And if you get down to it, you'll see that pretty much all hands involved are corrupt, and they really don't want the best for us. And
right,
it's terrible, man.
Well, so what I said a long time ago is that there's pretty much no branch of the government that's ever been created that has later been destroyed. There's none. I can't think of any. There might be a couple of programs that have expired, or maybe were shut down due to illegitimate, people running it.
And usually those are usually put into another group or named something differently, and they still do the craziness that they were doing. It's
right. Yeah. It's pretty intense.
It is.
I would say, as far as this goes, it's interesting to get into the differences in opinions, and that there could be, bringing it back to racism within the Black community. I don't think I never ever thought that was a thing, and when I became aware of it, it just was it blew my mind at first, and then it made me realize even more that people will take any kind of differentiation between somebody else, themselves and somebody else, and say, especially depending on the person, and saying, I'm better than you because I've got this.
Yeah.
Whatever that happens to be. And I always thought, somebody that was darker would have had, some kind of prejudice against somebody that was lighter skinned, because the lighter skin meant that they were more white or something like that. And that would be like a bad thing, which I guess is kind of the thing.
That's kind of,
that is kind of the thing.
You got, our,
but they're like less black.
Our president, Thomas Jefferson, who, had a couple of, mixed babies out there with his with those ladies out there. So it's like you got the slave masters were having their way with some of the slave women, and some got pregnant, and you could see the difference between how those children were treated versus how the slave on slave children were treated, and all of that. So like I said, it's roots. It's a lot. It's so much. But I will say one thing, and I don't want to harp on it too much, but I also see a lot of the scenarios that I see with, I'll say, because I call myself, I'm black. Like I said, I'm a black man. I'm a black American. So when Africans, like African Americans or people who are of African descent, who either born in Africa here or first, second generation Africans, I've seen to where that is a knock and a hard relationship I've seen with a lot of people. And there was Emmanuel Acho, I believe his name was. And he's a former football player, and he had a series called A Conversation with the Black Man. It was on ESPN. He was a former NFL player, played ball, I believe, at Texas, and he was trying to bridge the gap. And a lot of black people were like, "Bruh, you ain't even." So he got a lot of hate for being he's of black. African descent. You said it. Yeah. You said it. I ain't say it. Paul said it. I said so it was a lot of negative. I understood what he was trying to do, but also at the same time, it's like, hey, I know how I've been treated by certain people, and they've looked at me a certain type of way. And I remember this. It's not a. I haven't had a lot of women fancy me, unfortunately. It sucks, but
that's surprising.
I have not. I'm still, I got hopes, for all of that. And there was this one young lady who I actually liked when I was younger, and she was Nigerian. I really, really liked her, and I always tried to date her, and she. She just sat me down one day and she was just like, yeah, my dad is not going to fly for this. Like, it's just not going to happen. So
why?
Because I was not, Nigerian. And it was a big deal. I thought he was
going to be like, why are you gay? Did we just blow up the podcast?
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here.
Hey.
Listen.
Tell me something.
Who is going to pay for it? Who is going to pay for it? I need to know right now.
You tell me.
Listen, I love everybody, all right, but that was one situation that just kind of threw me off, man. Because I was like, I'm a nice dude, like I'm cool, like I thought I was. No, it's not gonna happen. All right, well, I guess I'll just go out here and just not live anymore.
Yeah.
Darn.
I guess I'm done. I've got a family member that is married to. So I have a white family member that is married to a gentleman from Nigeria, and I don't know. I mean, when there's two people involved in a relationship, everything is more difficult because you got two people coming from different backgrounds a lot of times. Yeah. And, even if you came from what you thought was the same background, you still think about things differently. Your parents treated you differently than their parents did. Process things
different. You fight differently.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, everything. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And, but you add culture into it, especially like an integration between like some sort of white culture with Nigerian culture, or like a Spanish culture or Hispanic culture, or like Asian culture. You're going to be different.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is, unless you grew up in the United States. And, the thing about the United States is there's a lot of people here that still keep their culture, but they have
adapted.
Yeah, a lot of them have adapted, and they kind of like water things down to where it's a little bit more palatable to everybody.
Yeah.
And, Hispanic people really like their spicy stuff, their spicy food. They have their different holidays or the celebration events. What do you call that? Traditions.
Yeah.
And so does a lot of these, a lot of different cultures do. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, bringing it back in, you have different cultures, and you're trying to meld those two. There's a lot of cultures out there that are like, their parents are like, you're not going to marry anybody that's not Asian, or you're not going to marry anybody that's not Hispanic, or, that's just,
that's their, that's them.
That's how they feel.
Yeah, that's how they feel, man.
And a lot of times, that guy or that girl is like, pushes back on that. I have noticed that there are a lot of, Muslim people out there. There's a lot of Hindu people out there. There's a lot of, Middle Eastern cultures that are very, they do marry within their own culture. And that's pretty cool, you know.
Yeah,
I don't care.
There's no right or wrong.
Yeah,
love should be love. Like, and if
however you do that, if it works out well, sure.
Yeah, and that's what just don't bring the negative, I guess, part of that and bringing somebody else down, and don't do that. Like, you know, if you want to uplift, you can uplift and be a traditionalist, and you know, this is what you all like. Like, that's fine. Like, do that. Just don't belittle or bring down, I guess, someone else or the thought of something. That's really like different. The negative just part. Don't be negative. So
I agree.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's all good. I remember I tried to, a couple years ago, I was gonna buy this dashiki, and everybody tried to make fun. Everybody, you know, gave me a hard time for it. It was fly too. Like, I mean, it was gonna be form fitted. It was tailored.
What is that?
It's what some of our African brothers and sisters wear, like that one piece, like the.
Oh, that's what that's called.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I tried to give me a dashiki and the matching hat, man. I had I had these loafers. That was, I mean, I'm talking about the fit was gonna be fire. Everybody telling me I was being rude and I'm not being, you know, sensitive to my African brothers and sisters or whatever. And then, you know, 5 years later, I see all the, you know,
everybody's
black people that I know, they are wearing dashikas and everybody cool and
they're trying to eat African food.
Like, bro, like, y'all talk about me, but now y'all all, you know, eating, you know, jollof rice and all this, and y'all think it's like, man, get out of here. So now I'm just at a point, I don't care. If I want to wear a dashiki, I'm gonna rock a dashiki. And I like light-skinned people, dark-skinned people. Everything is good. It's all love. At the end of the day.
It's all good.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like we always say, treat people like you want to be treated. Put your best foot forward. Like I said, you can't change the world, but if you can just change the dynamics of the perception of who you are, who you strive to be, like, I feel like that's just the number one thing. So
yeah, everything in a positive direction.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, so I feel it. I feel it, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Oh,
that's
Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby.
Well, you know, I know when you had that conversation with Ricky Bobby, I knew that kind of threw you off, and you brought it to my attention, you know, a few months back, and we kind of discussed it a little bit. But, you know, I'm glad that, you know, you brought that back up to me so that we could kind of get deeper into this whole thing and kind of see where a lot of this started from, and kind of tie into how, you know, we can see this in just the portrayal of different people, and how, you know, like my stories of, you know, I felt, you know, certain type of ways, and, you know, versus, you know, someone who's a little lighter toned than I am. But like I said, I feel that we can go in the right direction and, you know, just not spread that whole thing and just kind of bring it all together. So
I've got one thing. I know you're wrapping us up. So, I don't want to forget to mention this.
Yeah.
Most white people want to be darker.
Yeah.
And they'll go tan.
Like, I mean, people tan like hours.
Yeah.
Sit out in the sun. But
I want to be darker. I don't want to be freckly. I want to be like, you know, darker skin. I wish I was
little olive skin, you know, little olivey and all.
Yeah. I've been there before. It takes a while, but I get there.
Olive, not we don't want you orange. I don't want you orange. Like, that'd be a little too much. The orange is a bit much.
You know, the orange man bad syndrome.
You get the olive, get a little darker. You know, maybe a tab of caramel in there with that olive, man. Yeah, you fine. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
But y'all got to watch out for that sun too.
It's real bad for us.
Yeah, man, sun for my Caucasian brothers and sisters. The sun and them cigarettes just really don't like y'all.
They don't like
y'all
them.
Love the sun and them cigarettes, man.
Yeah,
y'all gotta let them go. Let them go, baby. Let them go. Just get rid of them, okay?
It's true.
Yeah.
There's nothing else you remember about this episode.
Leave them cigarettes and stay out of sun as long as y'all do. All right?
Yeah.
That's it. Everything else, well, you know, forget it. But that's the most important.
That's the most important.
Friend,
the more you know.
You got anything else, man?
No.
Listen, man, it's always good to chop it up with you and spend time with you and talk about these different things, man.
Same, man.
So Like we said, guys, this is the No Color Thick Skin podcast. We are on all of the listening platforms. If you're on Apple, you're on Spotify, you're on YouTube watching us, we appreciate you guys. If you're new here, if you could, leave a comment down on the YouTube, or you can subscribe as well. But we always love interacting with you guys. We appreciate that much. If you have a story that you want to share, please do that as well. We love the interaction. Like, the engagement is great for us. So once again, I'm Ray. It's my buddy Paul. This is the No Color Thick Skin podcast. Thank y'all for joining us on this weekly journey. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
We'll see y'all.